What up, y'all? This is Tracy from Nerd Squish, and today we're going to be rating and reviewing werewolf designs. Although an underutilized monster, werewolves are a staple of supernatural stories. Half man, half wolf, driven to savagely kill under the light of the full moon? What's not to love? Now, I always loved Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman, but it wasn't until 11-year-old Tracy watched Big Wolf on campus for the first time that my lycanthrope obsession really just went wild. They're one of the most fascinating creatures in the supernatural world. And perhaps we love them so much because we can see ourselves in these monsters. Because no matter how kind or gentle a person is, we all have untamed impulses hiding underneath.
Not in front of the kids.
Sorry. Since they are my favorite monster, I will watch just about anything that has a werewolf in it, no matter how bad it may be. Unfortunately, we don't get a whole lot of werewolves, so you kind of have to take what you can get. However, that doesn't mean that I can't judge werewolf designs, because I can be pretty snobby about them, and that is why we are here today. That's right, ladies and nerds, we are rating, reviewing, judging harshly werewolf designs today, and I'm very excited about this video. I want to stress that my rating has no reflection on the movie, TV show, or subject matter that the werewolf appears in, but really just about that final look, that final transformation of the werewolf. So no matter how cool a transformation scene is, we're only talking about the final form. Now, on the flip side, if a transformation scene or some other aspect is really, really cool, I may give a couple extra bonus points towards the final look. We will be rating the werewolves by phases of the moon. If I absolutely love a design, it's gonna get a full moon. If I absolutely hate a design, it's gonna get a no moon. So basically, it just gets no moon at all because no respect. We'll give it a crescent rating if it's a little bit better than terrible, and we'll give it a quarter if it's a little bit less than perfect. Now, before we get into our werewolves, if you're new here, this is Nerd Squish, where we take everything spooky and we take everything nerdy and we squish it all together. So if you like werewolves, Halloween, and pop culture, definitely hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos from us in the future. Now, it's only appropriate that we kick off today with the 1941 Wolfman. Although this movie is not the first werewolf film to ever exist, it was the first commercially successful werewolf film. As a result, when we think of a werewolf, we picture Lon Chaney Jr. in that famous Jack Pierce makeup. This design may seem cheesy by today's standards, but I absolutely love this classic werewolf design. This look is what pushed werewolves into mainstream media, and I will forever be thankful for that. Now, you're gonna notice throughout the rest of my ratings that this design, this type of werewolf, is gonna set a standard for all of my other ratings. This is the kind of werewolf that I love to see the most. I like to see a design that is for sure a dude. But you know, he's got hair, he's got claws, he's got fangs. Like, we know what we're trying to come across with this makeup. It is a werewolf. Half man, half wolf. Sometimes when the designs become too much of a wolf, you lose that half man aspect, and for that, I just don't love it as much. So needless to say, Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman gets a full moon rating all the way. The next werewolf that we're going to talk about today is the 2010 version of the Wolfman. Rick Baker created the design for this remake of the Wolfman, and in the few seconds that you actually see the real makeup in this movie, you can definitely tell. The makeup and the suit and all of it is absolutely stunning. Which really isn't surprising, considering this is the same man that did that beautiful transformation scene in American Werewolf in London, the Werecat in the Thriller music video, and he worked on Harry and the Hendersons. So the dude knows werewolves and, you know, just really hairy people. He gets it. You can definitely see where the inspiration comes from, and they took something that really, in today's world, would probably come off a little cheesy, and they managed to update that and make it into a terrifying beast. I can't say enough good things about this makeup. My only complaint, and this is a movie complaint, not a werewolf design complaint, is that we didn't see a lot of that practical. They, replaced a lot of it with CGI. So I wanted more of that beautiful makeup. This makeup is perfect. You can't tell me otherwise. Absolutely gorgeous. Full moon all the way. Now we're gonna take it to 1981 and we're gonna talk about An American Werewolf in London. While this movie has one of the most fantastic werewolf transformation scenes that has ever been created, the final werewolf is a bit lackluster in my opinion.
I'm not listening to this.
And I honestly hate saying that because I love this movie so much. But again, no matter how great a movie is, we're talking about the actual werewolf. What does this werewolf look like? I'm not a fan of werewolves that walk on all fours and are basically just a big wolf. Now, this design doesn't necessarily fall under that category and isn't terrible because Rick Baker designed this off of what he called a demonic hellhound. The one thing that doesn't make me completely hate this is the fact that this wolf is kind of like Jaws. You never really see the full wolf. So while this is better than a dude just turning into just a regular old wolf, the final form is just not for me, so we're gonna go ahead and give this one a quarter moon rating. Next up, we're gonna talk about 1985's Silver Bullet. I love this movie. But what is this? This looks like a deformed bear. This looks like a bad animatronic in a cheap haunted house. Now, even when a design's bad, I can usually kind of defend it if they use practical effects, because I'm a hater of CGI. So like if they go out of their way to actually make makeup, put on hair, put on a suit, physically turn that person into a wolf, I'm like, okay, all right, well, it's not so bad. This is hard for me to defend. And it's really a shame, considering this is a really good movie based off of Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf. And I can't even compliment the transformation scene, because there's one point in the transformation where your dude straight up looks like one of those nightmare-inducing gorillas from Rainforest Cafe. Like I said, I love the movie, love Busey, love Haim, but the werewolf is questionable at best. I'll go ahead and rate this one with a crescent moon because at least it is a werewolf and not just a full-blown wolf. The next werewolf we're going to talk about is Remus Lupin from the Harry Potter series. I love the Harry Potter series. Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite movie and my favorite book, and Remus Lupin is one of my favorite characters. However, they did ya boy wrong. What is this? This looks like a wolf with a case of the mange and an eating disorder. Like, he is so scrawny, he's about as buff as a coat hanger, and it looks like one little weak wind could just blow him away. And you're telling me this thing has like immense strength and I'm supposed to be scared of it? The only thing I'd be scared of is like if I'm up to date on shots, because clearly this thing is carrying something. I don't like it. New moon rating. Next up, we're gonna talk about Twilight. I know. I don't look. I didn't even want to put this on here. I went back and forth as to whether I even wanted to put this on the list. I only chose to put this on the list to prove a point. This is not a werewolf. This is just a really big wolf. I feel like the werewolves in this series are more skinwalkers than they are werewolves. Now, this makes sense considering that the characters that are werewolves are Native American. So skinwalkers, okay, that makes sense. Cool. However, they're advertised as werewolves. People refer to them as werewolves. They are not. That's a skinwalker. I cannot stand when a werewolf is just a person turning into a wolf. How is that a werewolf? Where's the half-man portion? Where is it? We're missing it. And unfortunately, this design and concept has become very popular in modern werewolves. Probably because of this movie. But mostly because it's probably cheaper and easier than anything else they could do. We're giving this one a new moon rating. Get it? Next up, we're going to talk about the 1985 Teen Wolf. I absolutely love this movie and this werewolf design. It's the perfect 80s version of a Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman. I love that this design is a perfect blend of half wolf, half man, and they do not shy away from hair. A werewolf is going to be hairy. And this is something that we probably should explain to most werewolf projects these days, because I don't know where hair went on werewolves, but like it's hard to find for some reason. And this is a perfect example of why you should do it, because this is a beautiful design. And I gotta give a little shout out to the transformation scene with like the bladders like bloating and stretching and changing the skin. Absolutely love it. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this werewolf design. It's perfect. Full moon all the way. Now we're going to take it to the Teen Wolf series, which ran through 2011 to 2017. All right, y'all. When I first heard that they were making a Teen Wolf series, I was stoked. And then I watched it, and I was sad. It's so close to being really cool, but it just kind of falls flat, in my opinion. I think they have a really good base layer of a werewolf, but it needs more. It almost looks like they started to put it on, and then like it was go time, and they're like, get out the chair, we gotta start filming. Like, that's what this gives me. Because the show was made in a post-Twilight world, they tried to make the werewolves sexy. As a result, half the time they're just running around shirtless, and you can't find one single chest hair. Not one. All of these werewolves are just waxed. Waxed as hell. Excuse me? You're a werewolf. You're supposed to have hair. Don't even get me started on the fact that when you watch this show, you forget that it's about werewolves. Because like, okay, one episode will be like an hour long, and you might see like a minute of full werewolf makeup. The majority of the time, they just give them fangs, or they just have claws, and they can all control their transformation under the full moon. And I'm like, what is this? Is this about werewolves? I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Clearly, they have a budget to do so much more than they did, but it's a post-Twilight world, and they want to say it's about werewolves, but it's not really about werewolves. I'm gonna give this one a crescent moon rating for the fact that it's almost good. The base layer's good, it just needs hair. Next up, we're gonna talk about Big Wolf on Campus that ran through 1999 to 2002. For those that aren't a fan of this show, this makeup probably comes off very cheap and cheesy. But me, I friggin' love it. Now, a big part of that is probably because this show is why I love werewolves. But to analyze a little further, this makeup design is really good for what it's in. They managed to make something that's very effective with virtually no budget. You look at this and you know he's a werewolf. It has all the design elements that you need for a werewolf that's kind of reminiscent of a Lon Chaney Jr. look. Now, this makeup went through a lot of design changes for a lot of different reasons over the 3 seasons. My personal favorite is the early half of the 2nd season. Some of these designs are more prosthetics, less hair, more hair. Sometimes they have contacts, sometimes we don't. And if we're being honest here, I love all versions. And the fun thing about this is that you do see other werewolves in the series, and as a result, you see a lot of other different designs that fit into that werewolf's personality or lifestyle.
So you're even bald as a werewolf? It's werewolf pattern baldness, but I'm comfortable with who I am.
But we have to give credit to the very first design that we ever see on the show. It's giving Teen Wolf. It's giving Wolfman. It's perfect. And the very first transformation scene? Absolute perfection, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Again, is this the best werewolf design that the world has ever seen? No. But considering it's a kid's show that had the same budget as the Power Rangers, I think it's effective. It tells you what this is. It made me think werewolves are hot.
Why? I find this whole werewolf thing kind of hot.
Hot?
Hold that thought.
Don't judge me. I think it's beautiful for what it is. It's my favorite TV show of all time. I'm giving it the full moon rating all the way.
Totally blushing here.
And the last werewolf design that we're going to talk about today is the 1996 movie Bad Moon. Although the transformation scene has some pretty bad special effects, it has some interesting steps throughout the way that I really like. It's creative, it's a little different. And the final werewolf look is great. When most people think of a werewolf, I think this is the type of image that pops up in their head. I love this design. He's traditional, he's bipedal, He's wonderful. I love it. I do want to add real quick that this is one of the most underrated werewolf movies of all time. And one day I will get my hands on the book that this was based off of. It's seemingly impossible. It's kind of a rare book, and when you do find it, it seems to be on the expensive side, but one day, she will be mine. Anyway, love this design. I'm giving it a full moon rating. And that's all, folks. That's all the werewolves that we're going to be covering in today's rating video. Now, I love this. I love a chance to talk about werewolves. Hopefully y'all enjoy listening to this and nerding out about werewolves with me. Let me know in the comments, out of all the werewolves we talked about, which one is your favorite? And more importantly, leave a comment letting me know which werewolf you want to see me rate and review in the next video. There's so many werewolves I want to talk about, but I don't want to make some super long, crazy video that's just gonna go on for hours and hours and hours. So I figured we could break this down into a series. Now, I did have some Instagram followers help me out and give me some ideas of some werewolves that I can talk about, some of which were featured in this video, some of which didn't make it in, but don't worry, they will be seen in videos to come. So make sure to follow us on Instagram if you're not already. That way you can be a part of all these questions and polls about werewolves, and you can see your picks featured in future videos. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so when new videos hit the channel, you'll be notified. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you nerds later!